Hi, my name's Sarah and this is my channel Your True Self. Thank you for watching today. Today's video is about a tag that I was tagged in by Tired Mama Tries to Read called the Finally Fall tag, which is about autumn reads. So there's 10 questions all about different autumnal themed reads. So I will kick off with the first question. I'm just going to grab my iPad because I've got the questions on there. Okay, so the first question says, in fall the air is crisp and clear, name a book with a vivid setting. So the one that I've chosen for this is The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivey. This is a book set in Alaska in the 1920s about a couple who have left their life to start afresh on a homestead, and they very sadly lost a child who died a number of years beforehand, and particularly the mother is still struggling to come to terms with this. And then this mysterious little girl comes into their lives who is the Snow Child. And so there's some magical realism and fairy tale elements to this story. The setting is beautiful, the story is stunning, and you were just right there with them in the setting, and I can't recommend this book highly enough. Question number 2, nature is beautiful but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic such as loss or grief. For this question, I've chosen Wild by Cheryl Strayed. This is a non-fiction book where it's Cheryl's memoir. She's a writer and she lost her mum to cancer when she was 18 or 19, and her life sort of takes a downward turn after this. She's very lost, and she basically decides to go on the Pacific Crest Trail, and she writes her memoir after she comes back. But the book is all about her journey, not only her physical journey along the Pacific Crest Trail, but also her metaphorical journey through the grief of losing her mum and coming out the other side. So again, gorgeous setting. She is such a talented writer. Her writing is absolutely stunning. I'd highly recommend Wild. It's brilliant. So question number 3. Fall is back to school season. Share a non-fiction book that taught you something new. For this book, I have chosen As Used on the Famous Nelson Mandela by Mark Thomas. So for anyone who's not familiar with Mark Thomas, he is a political activist and comedian. He writes books and he does stand-up comedy, and he's also done documentaries, and he basically investigates really serious political issues and demonstrates against serious issues, but with a way of doing it which draws you in, and even if you don't know much about the subject, he'll educate you whilst entertaining you and making you laugh. He's absolutely brilliant. I've been a fan of his for probably 15 years now. I've seen him on tour many times. I'd really recommend all his books. This book is where he's investigating the arms trade, and as part of the book he actually manages to set up dealing in torture equipment from a Catholic girls' school where they are posing as arms dealers, just to show how easy it potentially is to get involved in this world if you so wish. He's such an entertaining guy and he talks about really important issues. So the next one I found a bit tricky. So in order to keep warm, it's good to spend time with people you love. Name a fictional family, household or friend group you'd like to be a part of. I found this a bit tricky because I think for every character that you would like to spend time with, there's always somebody who you wouldn't want to spend time with or be a part of, or their circumstances. But anyway, I've chosen the book Cleef by Marcus Zusak. So I've spoken about this book before because it's one of my favourite ever books, and it's about a girl called Liesel Memminger who's in Nazi-occupied Germany, who has got to go and live with a family called the Hubermans, as her own mum has been sent to a concentration camp. And the Hubermans are the family, along with Liesel, that I'd like to spend time with. She is a lovely little girl and she's been through a hell of a lot, and she's slowly drawn out of herself by Hans Huberman, who is her foster dad, and he's just the most lovely man. So sweet, so calm, so kind. His wife's kind of fiery, but you know she's sort of soft on the inside. And the friends that Liesel forms are just so lovely as well. So I've chosen this family to join, and I would really recommend reading it. Obviously, I would not want to be stuck in Nazi Germany, but it's the family rather than the setting. Question number 5. The colourful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of 4 coloured spines. So I only picked 3. And these are the 3 spines that I've chosen. So I'll just tell you about them briefly. So the first one with this lovely reddy orange spine is Cutting for Stone by Abraham Verghese. This is a book which is mind-blowingly brilliant. It is set in Ethiopia in the 1950s. There is a surgeon called Mr. Stone, hence the title, and he fathers twins, and the mother dies in the process of giving birth to the twins, and they are basically the twins grow up together, but their lives take very different courses, and it's about their kind of adoptive family and the courses that their lives take. There's a lot in it about treatment of women and developing surgery for women after childbirth, which is really interesting. So Abraham Verghese is also a doctor. This book is powerful and brilliant and amazing, and it will stay with me for a long time. The next one is this lovely brownie colour spine, which is 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. This book I could not put down. I read it on my honeymoon and I couldn't stop reading. It's about a midwife called Lacey. Basically her son goes into school one morning and he kills 10 people, shoots them. So she's then left to try and work out what the hell just happened and how her son has turned into a high school killer. And as always with Jodi Picoult's books, it has an ethical question up on the cover. So it says, your son says the bullying was unbearable, but his revenge was murder. What would you do? So this is really unputdownable and just fantastic. And the last one is one that I haven't actually read yet, but I thought it would be really good for the autumnal theme. So it's got this gorgeous bright orange spine, and this, if I turned it up the right way, this is Walden by Henry David Thoreau. So I heard about this book, and as soon as I heard about it, I was like, oh, I have to read this. It is a memoir which was written, let me see. Yeah, 1854, about a guy who wants to go and live in the woods self-sufficiently in a cabin. So, I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's a topic which is really interesting to me, and I thought it would fit well. Cabin in the woods in autumn. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I can't say much more than that because I haven't actually read it yet, which I hope isn't cheating. Question number 6. Fall is the perfect time for storytelling. By the fireside, share a book wherein somebody is telling a story. I've chosen a book which I did really like, and that is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. This is all told in diary entries from the first person, so I guess that counts as somebody telling a story. It's about Charlie, who is a freshman at school, and he is struggling to fit in, and it's about him and his friends who are also, from what I can remember, he has a boy and a girl best friend, and all 3 of them are trying to find their place in the world, trying to find how they fit in at the school and in life in general, and finding out who they are. And it's quite a short book. It's really easy to read. The film adaptation is brilliant as well. So if you enjoy it either, I'd recommend the other if you haven't read the book but you've watched the film, or vice versa. Question number 7 is, the nights are getting darker, share a dark, creepy read. I don't have loads of dark, creepy reads. I have a couple, but I've only actually read one of them. And this is The Small Hand by Susan Hill. So Susan Hill really is synonymous with ghost stories and this time of year. If I read the back, because I read this quite some time ago, it's a really little book, but it's quite scary. So it says, late one summer's evening, antiquarian bookseller Adam Snow is returning from a client visit when he takes a wrong turn. He stumbles across a derelict Edwardian house and, compelled by curiosity, opens the door. Standing before the entrance, he feels the unmistakable sensation of a small cold hand creeping into his own, as if a child had taken hold of it. At first he is merely puzzled by the odd incident, but then begins to suffer panic attacks and to be visited by nightmares. He is determined to learn more about the house and its once magnificent, now overgrown garden, but when he does so, he receives further, increasingly sinister visits from the small hand. So it is creepy and scary and spooky and perfect for this time of year. Question number 8. The days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold, rainy day. So I would like to recommend Wonder by R.J. Palazzo. I haven't got the book because I actually borrowed it from my mum, but I loved it so much I'd like to own my own copy. This is about a boy who is born with a disfigurement facially, and he has to have multiple surgeries, and he still looks very different to other children, and he is homeschooled. And when he is about, I don't know, 10 maybe, his parents decide that it's a good time for him to start going to a normal school, and it's told from the perspectives of him and his sister, and I think from 2 of their friends, and it's about his journey into being in the school and coping with looking different, and how other people, some of them are kind to him, some of them aren't kind to him, and how it affects his whole family, like how his sister feels that all of the attention is always on him and not on her because of how he is and how he's had all these surgeries and things. But it's so heartwarming and so lovely, and it is a really serious topic, but it's told in such a way that you just want to hug the book because it's just so beautifully done, and in such a way that seems like they've understood so well how it might feel to be Oggy. He's the main character. The penultimate question. Fall returns every year. Name an old favourite you'd like to return to soon. This is a book I've wanted to mention for ages. I just haven't had the right video to mention it, so now I have. This is The Story of Edgar Sortel by David Wroblewski. This book I came across because it was an Oprah's book club choice, and that's how I heard about it. I'd never really come across it in this country. If you love dogs, you have to read this book. I've never had a dog. I like dogs a lot, but this is just such a good book. So basically, Edgar Sortel is born mute, and his family dog called Armandine, who has to be one of the best characters ever in a book. She is basically his voice. So when he cries, that no sound comes out, and she will alert adults that he is distressed, and she becomes his best friend. And this is a household where they breed dogs and they train them, and they never say which breed the dogs are, but they sound like Alsatians. And it's about Edgar's role with the dogs and training the dogs, and things are going well, and then his uncle comes back into town after prolonged absence, and things all start to go a bit wrong for the whole family after the uncle comes back. And basically, because things start to unravel, Edgar flees the family and the dogs, and it's about what happens from there. So it's not a short book, it's probably about 450-500 pages. It's the story of the bond between human and animal, and human relationships with each other, and the settings. It's in the States, and it will break your heart, I warn you now. I really couldn't wait to share this book with everyone. I'd so recommend you pick it up, especially if you love animals. I just can't tell you enough. Pick it up, it's brilliant. And then the final question. So fall is the perfect time for cozy reading night. Share your favourite cozy reading accessories. I really only have one reading accessory because I read paper books and I tend to read wherever. So I found out from Jen Campbell's, mentioned something on her Patreon page, I think, about on Netflix you can have a real fire playing on your TV. So if you just search for fireplace or something like that, it's basically like somebody has filmed in 4K high definition their fireplace as it ignites, and then as the fire burns, and you can hear all the crackling. And so I will put that on the TV and just then pretend that I'm in Victorian England in a lovely house, reading by the fireside. So I do live in a lovely house, by the way. I don't want to sound like I live in a really horrible house. So that is my favourite reading accessory, and obviously a cup of tea. Cat on my lap is also nice. So that's a quiet space where I can concentrate. So that was my fall tag. I now have to tag a couple of other people. For the people I tag, I don't know if you do tags, so if you don't do tags, don't worry, that's fine. But I'm going to tag Key Reads, and I'm also going to tag Lauren from Lauren and the Bix, as I know that she loves autumn. And it'd be great if you did tag, but don't worry if you don't want to. And I will make another video and see you all very soon. Bye!